We're back with another installment of the best in horror countdown 2019 through 2020. These are all of the best films released in between October 1st, 2019 and September 30th, 2020. Let's keep on counting down. Welcome to the Best of Horror Countdown 2019-2020 on ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. Be sure to give this video a like, share with your buddies across the electronic superhighway, click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. If you're in the Chicago area and you love horror, you don't have any excuse not to head over to the Chi-Town Movies Drive-In for the Music Box of Horrors. Every day in October, for 31 nights of horror, there'll be late shows Sunday through Thursday and double features every Friday and Saturday night. Every weekend is themed. There's Grindhouse Fridays, Rip-Off Saturdays, and Sequel Sundays. Tonight they're playing the unrated version of Stuart Gordon's classic, Reanimator. This one you don't want to miss. Look below for a link to the schedule, where to get tickets, and directions to this awesome horror event. Coming in at 25 is The Beach House, released on July 9th, 2020, and streaming exclusively on Shudder. The Beach House was written and directed by Jeffrey A. Brown. The Beach House is another rental by the water flick that seemed to be somewhat of a trend this year. A couple, Emily, played by Liana Liberato, and Randall, played by Noah LaGrosse, son of James, go to a sleepy beach town in the off-season to find another couple in their house. This couple are friends of Randall's father, Mitch, played by the Day of the Dead's Jake Weber, and Jane, played by Marianne Nagel. After some awkward moments as neither couple knows each other, and they're separated by quite a few years, they soon break bread together, and Randall even shares a bit of his pot-infused brownies with them. This leads to a festive night as the two couples from two generations party and bond. It's at this point that you don't know exactly when or how the horror show will drop, but the Beach House plays things very close to the vest for a very long time while we get to know this cast. But you can't stop the tides, and though Emily has aspirations of studying underwater organisms, no one really understands the horrors that have crept up from the ocean, first as a mist, then as some kind of biochemical agent which pollutes, contorts, and controls the entire beach town, changing the occupants there into some kind of infectious creatures. Oblivious to the threat as it drifts in, like a fog, from the ocean, the quartet struggle to survive long enough to get to some kind of shelter, but fear they are already infected by this unknown menace. The Beach House is Lovecraftian horror at its best. While Emily spouts some kind of gobbledygook about marine biology and undiscovered alien environments underwater, there really is no explanation as to what the hell is going on. It's just some kind of creeping terror in the fog. But like Color Out of Space, whatever it is that is released is changing the environment and the people on a horrifying level. This leads to some grueling scenes of body horror and places our cast into an alien landscape where the familiar has changed completely. There really are no rules as to what's going on, which gives the film an ungrounded and uncomfortable feel. If you're a fan of indescribable terrors that often pop up in Lovecraft lore, you're going to dig this one. The metaphorical threat is twofold, as this seems like the last vacation for both couples to take together. Emily and Randall just seem to be going on different paths, with her having aspirations for higher education, and Randall quitting school and leading a more aimless lifestyle consisting of drugs and living in his father's beach home full-time. Mitch and Jane are at another impasse, as Jane is sick with what seems to be cancer, and her health is fading fast. When the monster fog rolls in, it represents a literal wedge between the couples, as well as a wedge between the individuals, as the younger couple seem to fight the changes while the older couple embraces it. One issue I had with The Beach House was that the acting in the script feels somewhat forced. The actors are fine, but I think the lines they're made to speak needed another pass to feel a little more natural. Liana Liberato is a trooper, though, as she really is put through the ringer in the lead role of Emily. The vague ending is going to be a deal breaker for some. It offers no real answers and instead provides a rather nihilistic comment on both relationships between lovers and generations. I do admire the amazing practical effects, from the goop in the trees to the thing in the cellar. It's creepy as all get out. The beach house is most successful in presenting a deep unknown, be it in the future of the couples or the threat in the mist, and pushing that inevitable fall into the abyss to the max. Another film that just missed this year's main countdown was After Midnight. It was released on February 14th, 2020, and it's available on digital download and on demand from Cranked Up Films. After Midnight is directed and written by Jeremy Gardner and Stella. When his longtime girlfriend, Abby, played by Brea Grant, leaves him with a vague note and no explanation as to if or when she'll ever be back, Hank, played by Gardner, begins to go a little batty in his partially renovated home in the middle of nowhere. From the looks of it, it looks like the South Carolina countryside. As Hank turns to alcohol and self-loathing, it appears some kind of creature has emerged from the forest surrounding the house, hell-bent on getting inside. With The Battery, Jeremy Gardner was able to tell a poignant tale of two best friends trying to survive a cataclysmic event, a zombie apocalypse. While this story has been told before, what set it apart was the intimate and sensitive take on the emotional weight such a catastrophe can take on a person, and how that can strain a friendship to its limits. Gardner tells a similar story, but instead of destroying the entire world around him, he decides to destroy Hank's immediate world when his girlfriend leaves him. The couple was building a life together in the home Hank inherited from his relatives, and though Hank seemed content with living in a relationship that doesn't see marriage in the foreseeable future, if ever, it becomes pretty clear through the various flashbacks that Abby has grown weary of Hank's adolescence, which has now extended into his mid-30s. The only thing really holding Hank together was Abby, which has made all the clearer how far and fast Hank descends without her. After Midnight does a great job of opening with a thrilling situation where we have no idea what's going on and then backtracking to explain it all thoroughly. We see Hank and Abby at the beginning of their relationship and how intense their love is. We also see the love strain through the years, as both Abby and Hank seem to use this home in the middle of nowhere as a sort of purgatory to keep them both from growing and maturing. The more we get to know these two, the more they seemed doomed, but still there's that shred of hope that something will happen to bring them together. This is a complex and sophisticated way of telling a story, and Gardner hits every beat with ease. The night scenes when the monster attacks from the darkness and the few scenes Gardner leaves the sanctity of his home to hunt the creature are done really well. While not revealing what the monster is or if it even only exists in Hank's mind, Gardner and his co-director, Stella, still are able to make the scenes tense and scary by using forced angles that just seem to miss capturing the creature on film, deft use of sound, or just showing bits and pieces of the beast through keyholes and holes blasted through the walls by Hank's shotgun. All of this makes for a fantastic reveal by the end of the film, which relies on some impressive practical effects. The dialogue of After Midnight feels comfortable and natural. There are arguments and discussions I've had before with my own significant other. They're going to be recognizable because I think the themes Gardner wrestles with are common with men in their 30s, still searching for that dream, but not wanting to settle on anything in hopes not to miss out on other opportunities. Women are going to identify with Brea Grant's Abby, as I feel that despite the message of a strong independent woman that is often promoted in big-budget movies, there's still a yearning for some of the aspects of relationships that some might label as traditional. Grant's Abby is no pushover. She's conflicted and frustrated with Hank, but she still loves him. Gardner is a giant personality on top of his talent as a filmmaker, and carrying a lot of this film on his own shoulders, as he's the sole person in frame most of the time. But when Grant is on screen, she goes toe-to-toe with him, and really does stand out as a strong and endearing character. By far, this is Brea Grant's best performance to date. If there's a chink in After Midnight's armor, it's that there are two extended scenes of dialogue late in the movie that I feel needed to be edited down. I get it that these two scenes are long takes with little cuts and most likely seem to be meant to be crucial to the way the film plays out, but both scenes seem to go on for an awfully long time and sort of skids the momentum of the film down to a crawl, just as the action was starting to rev up. This happens twice in the last half hour of the film, and this erratic pacing works against it rather than complementing it. That said, this is a film that dissects relationships with a sharp blade and isn't afraid to sludge through the messy spatter that most relationship films dare not tread. These are complex and messed up people, which makes them human, and thus downright relatable. The film also sports some great atmospheric scenes with the surrounding forest, some great interior design to the partially reconstructed mansion, another great collection of songs from what seems to be friends of Gardner's, and some cool callbacks to the Battery that only the deftest of eyes and ears will catch. Both Gardner and Grant deliver some of the best performances, plus it's got an awesome monster. Or does it? That would be telling, and I'm not going to ruin it for you. That'll be it for today. Check back in tomorrow for my next pick on the countdown. Please chime in down in the comments and let me know what you think of these films, how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own darn list. If you like this video, please pound that thumbs up button. Share this video with your social media addicted pals. If you're looking for written reviews and more countdown installments, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com. Don't forget I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look for. GRAVETRANCERS is out now in most comic shops, and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, will be out late in November, early December. Diamond order code APR 201712. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for alerts to be the first to see my future videos. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality.